Hi, this is Captain Paul Brawley with Fish Finder Guide Service. Today we're going to start out in Nighthawk Bay. Right along this edge here, you're going to find some deeper sand pockets and grass. We're going to be fishing in there with live croaker or piggy perch if you can get them. We're throwing those with number 6 or number 7 cow hooks. I like using the number 6 for the piggies and the number 7 for the croakers, but it's your choice. We're going to be fishing there early as we can. All through this zone, you'll find a bunch of grass and sand mix. Some deeper sand along the backside of those islands will help you to locate a few of the better trout that are in there. Moving out of Nighthawk, we're going to come over here to King Ranch Shoreline. There's still a lot of fish along this drop through here. We're looking for those on live croaker, and some people have started switching to piggy perch. The water has gotten a little better. It's still a little bit dirty through this little area right here, but you can still catch some nice fish. It's just the bite's a little slower. Moving a little south into Emerald's Hole, we're looking at the entire area of Emerald's Hole here, making long drifts with shrimp and popping corks. The water's off colored, but you'll be looking for trout, redfish, and black drum in this deeper water. With the low tide, the fish seem to have concentrated a little bit deeper. Next, we're going to move to this area north of Pita Island. All this zone here, what they call the Tropic Flats, seems to still be holding some trout, some redfish, and some black drum. Look for the trout on live croaker. Look for your redfish and black drum using corks and shrimp. Water still is off colored. You'll see a watercolor change line where it goes from the clear to the dirtier water. Just remember, if you're fishing that clearer water, that you have to use leader lines. If you're fishing the dirtier water, it's not quite necessary, but always something you might consider doing. If you come a little bit more north of that, right here in this triangle between the Humble Channel, you'll be looking for some speckled trout and some oversized redfish using croakers, number 7 kell hooks, and you're going to be also looking for a few black drums on the opposite side of the Humble Channel through here. Hopefully that you can find them with some corks and shrimp through that area. Moving along north of the JFK, we're going to be concentrating on this flat right in here that is a little west of the Humble, making long drifts through there with corks and shrimp, or you can power pole down and try to use some croaker through there. It's a nice mixed bag of redfish, trout, and black drum through that area. Also, if you come out into these bigger basins, these open basins, you might try some of the shallow humps that are in there for some trout on your number 7 kell hooks with croakers all through that area. The rest of the bolt hole area, it's been very shallow. The water's hot. The fish are going deep. So you really want to kind of look for those fish in those couple of deeper areas that I circled. You can get over here on this curve on the base. You may find a few more trout in that area. I kind of went off the pad there. In this area right in here, you could maybe possibly pick up a few trout and redfish in there. I fished this pretty heavily, all these little cuts coming into the boat hole from the Corpus Christi Bay, and I really didn't do any good there. It wasn't until I got in this little bit deeper water till I started doing a little better. So kind of keep that in mind. You may try this area in here, but a little earlier in the morning. I don't know why the fish weren't there, but they really weren't when I tried it. Coming around this whole cove right here in Corpus Christi Bay, you could look for a lot of trout through there with number 7 kell hooks and using live croaker, or number 6 kell hooks using live piggy perch. There's a lot of dolphins out there feeding, but don't let those discourage you because there's still a lot of trout right in that bend. Next, we're going to be moving south of Twin Palm Islands into the meadows. There's a line of cabins that run through this drop right here. You're going to be fishing the west side of that drop, and all the way up and down it, you'll be looking for redfish on cut bait or trout on croaker. It seems to be pretty productive. The reds are a little better in the afternoon. The trout are a little better in the morning. You're going to be lining up with those cabins and looking for that drop. There will be a line of off-colored water that will kind of identify where the drop starts. but that area seems to have been holding a few fish. This area back in here is a little bit shallow from the low tide, so you want to stay off of those islands some and throw your cut bait up towards the backs of these islands for the redfish, and you probably want to try that after 11 o'clock in the morning in the Baffin Bay area. Next, we're going to be moving into Yarborough. This back drop back here all the way through from north to south. You're going to be looking for redfish back there on all the mini sandbars that kind of hump off this back edge. Fish all the drops, looking for reds and trout. Actually, there's some trout back there. You're going to look for those on croaker. Use cut bait for your reds, piggy perch for your reds. It's all been pretty good. You're going to fish the drop because the tide is so low. Be real careful around Yarborough. There's a lot of shallow mounds, especially anywhere in this zone here or getting back over here. There's a lot of shallow zones that you could really get stuck and high centered on. So kind of try to stay in there. That area seems to be producing some trout and redfish. Moving to the back sides of these spoils, I would target the back sides of those spoils with shrimp and cork, and you're looking for black drum and redfish all through the backs of these. Don't be surprised to get a real nice trout or two in there, but I've been kind of concentrating with cork and shrimp to catch drum and redfish.